All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to be looking at a system that makes a seriously bold claim, hitting six figures online. But here's the kicker, doing it all without ever having to make a single sales call.
I mean, think about it for a second. Could you really build a successful business without ever picking up the phone to sell? It's a huge question, right? For so many of us, sales calls feel like this necessary evil. They're the engine of the business, but man, they can also be the biggest source of stress. So, what if you could just skip them?
So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on one founder's methodology that claims to be the answer. We're going to break it all down, piece by piece, the problem they say exists, the system they built to fix it, and the kind of results they promise you'll get. Okay, so before we can even get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem they're trying to solve. And according to the source material, there's a real ugly truth when it comes to the old way of selling. The whole case against calls really kicks off with this one giant number, 90%. The source material points to a HubSpot study that says 90% of buyers just plain don't like being pitched on a call. And think about what that means. You're starting the conversation from a huge disadvantage. You're fighting an uphill battle before you even say hello.
And it's not just about what the buyer wants. What about you, the entrepreneur? The framework makes a huge point about this. Every single call, whether you make the sale or not, costs you about an hour. That's not just the call itself, that's the prep time, the follow-up. It adds up fast. And your time is literally your most valuable resource. And you can probably see where this is headed. The argument is that this constant cycle of scheduling calls, pitching to people who don't want to be pitched to, and facing rejection, it's a recipe for disaster. It's presented as the fast track to complete burnout, and for many, the reason their business just doesn't make it. So, if grinding out sales calls is the big problem, then what's the fix? Well, this is where the whole idea pivots. It's about moving away from that manual person-to-person hustle and embracing a structured, automated system instead.
And that system has a name, Automated Sales Mastery. It's laid out as a 15-module course, and its entire purpose is to teach you how to scale your online sales by completely replacing live calls with processes that run on their own or through text.
Now, I know what you're thinking. 15 modules. That sounds like a lot to wrap your head around. So, to really get what's going on here, let's break this thing down into its main parts. Okay, so the system breaks it down into three really logical chunks. First up, you've got the foundation. This is all about getting your strategy straight, your mindset, your niche, what you're actually selling. Then you move into persuasion. This is the juicy part, right? It's about learning the psychology of selling, but for chat and email. And finally, you get to automation and scaling. This is where you put all the pieces together, build the systems, and get things growing, hopefully on their own.
A fancy system sounds great, but the real question is, does it actually work? So let's shift gears and look at the proof they offer, the testimonials, and what it'll actually cost you to get in. The first piece of evidence we see is this quote from Emily R. It's pretty direct, claiming she went from making nothing to $10,000 a month, all while using this no-call approach. That's a powerful claim right out of the gate. Next up, we have a testimonial from a David K., and this one is all about the return on investment. The claim here is that the system paid for itself 10 times over. That's meant to tell you that the value you get is far greater than the price tag. And this last quote from Sophia L. really brings it all full circle, back to that initial problem we talked about. It's not just about the money, it's about efficiency and getting your life back. It positions the system as a way to build a business that doesn't completely consume you. So, the bottom line, what's the price? According to the source, the investment is $900. And to back that up, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is framed as a totally risk-free way to try it out. Let's zoom out for a second. Putting this specific system aside, what does this trend toward automation really mean for the future of selling? It kind of forces us to think about where business is headed and that balance between technology and the good old-fashioned human touch. And this whole idea leaves us with a really big question to chew on. If, or maybe when, sales become almost completely automated, what's left for us, the humans? What is the new role of human connection in business? Does it fade away, or does it actually become more valuable, just in a different way? It's definitely something worth thinking about.